Welcome to the Healing Chat by Tolicious. I'm your host today, Samantha Chapman, and today we have with us Dr. Victoria. Super excited to have you with us today. So let's get straight into it, everyone. So tell us a bit about yourself. So your journey through hospice and palliative care and how you ended up in education through all of that.
Yeah. Well, I actually started off my career in the army.
Yes.
I started off as an army doctor, and through that I'd done some humanitarian work.
Yeah.
And that was something that I absolutely loved doing that. So I always sort of kept that with me. And in the army, I went on to train to be a GP.
Right. Okay.
But I left when I had my family. And I think getting back to that hearts and minds type of work, I was really keen to at least do some time working in a hospice. So I was really fortunate. I got a job almost straight away at St Oswald's Hospice.
Yes, I love St Oswald's. I really, really do. I think they do great work.
Yeah.
They do.
And I was really fortunate to be able to do that because it meant that I trained with like real experts in the field and got an excellent grounding in doing it. And actually I never went back to general practice because it was very much my heart over my head and sort of stayed there. And then I went to work in Sunderland.
Where were you in Sunderland?
So I was mainly working in the community.
I was going to say I'm a Sunderland girl.
Right.
I'm in Sunderland.
I know my way around Sunderland now. And it's like a real honour for people to invite you into their homes and into their spaces. And I really valued and respected that. So in terms of the teaching, ever since I was at school, really, people said to me, have you thought about going into teaching? And I do come from a family of teachers. So I kind of wanted to rebel against
break the boundary.
No, I'm not doing that. It was funny because it was like people were always saying this to me, like when I was a GP.
So what does burnout really look like for professionals in your opinion? What does it come from? What does it look like? What can it manifest itself as?
Well, I think that is an excellent question because I think sometimes it's quite hard to spot it. Because one, a lot of us take it home.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you don't see it in the workplace. It's actually how it plays out at home and your family interactions, or you're maybe just exhausted and you don't want to do anything. I think in the workplace, it can quite often manifest as these little tensions and niggles. And actually it's maybe somebody there who's not happy and becoming increasingly withdrawn. I'm always really concerned about the people who you don't see.
Yes.
You know, they're quietly suffering. I think in answer to your question, there's lots of different ways it can come out. We need to be honest about it and not almost kind of deny that it's happening.
Yeah.
I think we're much better at it, saying I'm feeling burnt out, but I think we could be a lot better.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think it also depends sort of what sector you're in, what field you're in.
Yeah.
Probably if you're a man or a woman, I think women probably are more likely to come out and say it.
Yes, but I think women are also more likely to carry on.
Yeah, definitely, because they take on all the different roles, supporting everyone that they can, whether that be at home supporting the kids, then going to work and supporting their team. You've always got that role on your shoulders. So what sort of strategies for reconnecting with personal purpose and passion, because you helped yourself realign with that purpose? So what sort of strategies could Peter put in place to do that?
Well, for me, what I did was the reason why you go into medicine, and there's lots of other professions like this, you know, you have to connect with that optimism of your youth. And for me, that was that naive optimism that I can change the world.
Yes.
That optimistic version of you when you were young, that age, it's still there. You have to find it. And that takes some time. That really does. Because I think everything, you know, you've got a lot of other responsibilities on, and that's a bit indulgent, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what was it I wanted to do when I was 16, 17, 18? But actually taking that time to reconnect with that person, I think is really valuable. So for me, I realised that I did want to change the world, and it was all those humanitarian type things, the hearts and minds that I'd done in the army, was exactly why I wanted to be a doctor. But at that point in my life, you know, I had a family and I had a job. I couldn't necessarily go and volunteer for Médecins Sans Frontières, which I would have loved to have done. But I did join an international, it's like a non-governmental organisation, a not-for-profit. And I spent some time finding one that really aligned with my values.
Right, okay, so you didn't just jump straight into it. You sort of vetted where you wanted to be.
Because this is about you and your values and your purpose. I think it's really important to join a group, whatever it might be, that aligns with that. So I joined the International Association for Hospice and Palliative Care and almost immediately did some advocacy training with them.
Right.
Because one of the things that they do is around advocacy and policy.
Right, okay.
At an international level, access to palliative care for
everyone.
Everywhere in the world.
That's great.
That really spoke to me. So I did that training and then I got invited to represent them at the World Health Organization.
That's very exciting.
I think if you get these opportunities and on some level, it's like, yes, I want to do it. Say yes.
Yes.
All the nerves that come after that, this was a baptism of fire doing this particular one, I will tell you. It's an experience I would never exchange for anything in the world. It was so valuable. And it really was me, actually, the purpose was much bigger. Yes, it was just after COVID. And actually, in that situation, it was a bonding experience because no matter who you spoke to anywhere in the world.
That's true. Everyone had a similar...
We all went through it.
Experience.
Yeah, we all went through it. And you can say to people, so what was COVID like for you?
Yeah.
You know, we're having those conversations. So yeah, that's kind of what I did. And I found an inner purpose.
Yeah. So how do you think professionals can recognize those early signs of burnout and maybe seek help? Because are some people just thinking, oh, I'm just overtired? Is it I'm overtired, or is it just I'm just having one of those days? But really, it's all adding up and it's creating something bigger. It's creating a bigger problem.
Yeah. When you have that thought, hold that thought for a little bit longer and just ask yourself, could I be burnt out? What I actually did, which was a massive eye-opener, I did there's some tools that you can use to assess your burnout scores. And I think I was familiar with that through the NHS. There's a lot of that sort of stuff in the NHS, but they are freely available.
All right, okay. Well, guys, we might tuck some of them below if anyone wants to have a look.
And it's an objective way for you to assess yourself. And I was so high on that scale.
Yeah.
And it was a shock. It was a massive shock. I knew I was feeling burnt out. I didn't realise I was quite as bad as I was.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes, sit in that space and really ask yourself, is this burnout?
Yeah.
Is this burnout?
So when you realise that is burnout and you are burnt out, you might be a really good person to ask this actually, because you might have some places people can go, places people can seek help for that type of thing. Or is it a case of realigning yourself or just taking yourself home and having that time to rest?
So some people might, they might do something like yoga, Pilates. They might go down to the gym. I would say often when you're so burnt out, it's difficult to even find a way through that.
Yes.
So sometimes you might need to go to more specialist places. Obviously, I would always say to people, I'm a doctor, I would say, go and speak to a healthcare professional. I accept that can be easier said than done at the moment.
Yes.
But don't use that as an excuse not to. There's lots of resources available online, like through the NHS.
Yeah.
There's obviously the good work that you guys do as well. And feeling that you're not on your own.
Yeah, is definitely a massive.
That there are other people who have been there, who have come out the other end, that will more than likely give you the benefit of their experience and be there to support each other.
Yeah, that's great advice. Talk to people, even if it isn't a healthcare professional. Like you say, if you are on a waiting list, let's say, or you're struggling, some people struggle to talk to a professional. Some people, it's easier to talk to someone that they know has been in that situation. So that's great advice. Find someone, talk about it, get out of your chest, or go for a walk. Go for a walk, get outside. And
there was so much about giving yourself space.
Yeah.
I think quite often we don't, whether that's getting out into some green space, nature.
Yeah.
And just give yourself an opportunity to breathe. It might be as simple as a lovely cup of coffee.
Yes.
And a moment out, but you don't need to be constantly rushing to the next thing. Because sometimes we do that because actually we're avoiding things.
Right. Okay. That's an interesting one. Let's dive a bit into that. So like the idea of it's procrastination, but in a different way, I suppose, isn't it?
I think so. And I think especially if you've either got a career or your family or something where you are always giving something to other people, there's that inner critic, that inner voice that's saying, you know, the guilt tripper. If you're taking that time out to go for a walk, I should be doing something
There's something else I should be doing that's more important.
Yeah. And that word should, if you start hearing that, that's a sign.
Right, okay.
What's the evidence that tells you you should be doing that as opposed to taking some time out for yourself?
You're absolutely right. And as well, you're not as good to anybody if you're not at your best. You can't pour in anyone else's cups when yours is empty, let's be honest.
This is true. This is true.
So how can organisations better support this? So recognise and support their people. How do you think that, what's things that should be put in place more, not just in the NHS, not just in those type of organisations, but organisations in general?
If I had one thing that I would, if you gave me a magic wand, so what can you do? What I would do is I would really work to move away from that sense that it's an individual's, almost like a feeling. I think it's all important to make sure that we've got those things in place, but it goes beyond just individuals and kind of like ask the organisations themselves, what is happening in this organisation, your way you do things, your operations, your policies, your processes, that is making people feel burnt out or could make them feel burnt out. So that would be my biggest wish, is not to just think it's down to the people as individuals. It's much bigger than that.
Yeah, definitely. So you're starting a new business. So tell us a bit about the new business and tell us about the mission behind it.
Just taking it back to all those things I was talking about earlier about me reconnecting with my values and finding a more purposeful way forward. And that's kind of where my business came from, because I've gone through it and I know there are other people who are going through it because I've spoken to colleagues. But a lot of people kind of don't know where to start.
Right, okay.
So I'm now a coach. I've trained to be a coach.
So back into the teaching though. Back into the
And the thing about the teaching that I really loved was when you got that moment when somebody really felt like it had connected with something that gave them the motivation to do it and being part of that journey. So I think coaching is just a different part of that. But this is specifically focused on people who are maybe more senior, more established in their careers and want to give back. And how can they do that? And alongside that, as we've been talking about, how we can get organisations to actually listen to those people and embed that in their...
I love that. It's so important. So important. And the mission and everything behind it just sounds great. So now you're helping established burnout professionals rediscover their purpose. What's the sort of impact you want to create with that?
Love that question. Yes. There is a quote by Aldous Huxley about the only part of the universe that you can influence is your own corner of. It's basically like what is within our control, and it's if you put all those corners together, you could have a massive movement for change.
Yes.
And that will be dependent on you. So what is it that you really want to do that will make this world slightly better than how you found it? And if we can kind of bring all those little small actions together, not only will you get a really good sense that you're part of something bigger than you, you'll be changing the world at the same time. So I think that's what keeps me going. That's my
I love that. So what's the steps with the business then? What's the next steps? Where are we at with it? Can we get in touch? Where are we at with it?
Yeah. So where I'm at now is I've got that coaching side of it all set up. I'm working on workshops using a design thinking approach. So I have done design thinking in the past. That would be specifically aimed at the organisations.
Right. Okay.
So if you're an organisation and you want to do something, but you don't quite know where to start, or if you're a charity or a community interest company, because that's clearly part of very much my value set. I offer discounts.
All right. Okay. Get in there with the discounts, guys.
And if you're in that sector as well and you want to learn how to take a more design thinking approach, I do offer a train the trainer approach. So you could learn by doing.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of developing my business. And probably the easiest way to connect with me would be on LinkedIn.
Right, amazing. Well, we'll be tagging our LinkedIn guys as well. So make sure you're getting all of these tags. I'm tagging loads in this podcast, apparently. So make sure you are checking those links out. And we wish you all the luck with the business as well. So now for the tough question. What does healing mean to you?
For me, healing to me happened when I felt that I'd reconnected with humanity.
Right, okay.
And with the human race.
Right.
Because for a long time, I felt like I was on the outside looking in.
Yes.
That was the boundaries that I'd created myself. Part of it was COVID and the work that we were doing in COVID. But that made me realise that there was so much happening that wasn't in the news and all that very stressful, anxiety-inducing stuff that you hear in the news. All the good work that was happening, I wanted to be part of that and connect with people. And that's exactly what I did through International Association for Hospice and Palliative Care, because I now work with people all over the world with this common purpose. And I think healing happened when I realised that I was part of something that was much bigger.
I love that. Well, that is an absolutely lovely way to end, guys. So thank you for joining us on the Healing Chat by Tolicious. Remember, healing isn't a destination, it is a journey. So until next time, take care of yourself because self-care is not selfish, it is survival.